Hello Tubesters, it's Gav, and we shuffle into shot, another technical word for making videos. Yeah, thanks for joining me on another video. Today, as the title should hopefully suggest, we're looking at Middle East tank crew 1960 to 1970, and I can't believe I'm managing to read that without my glasses on, though it is rather large, and it's from MiniArt. ICM and MiniArt, I'm always getting them mixed up for some reason. But that's what I'll be unboxing in a moment. It's to go with the T34 build that I'm doing. It's starting to unravel, as they always do. I joined the T34 group build because I wanted to support my Mara Greg Riley. You know, he's a cracking bloke, and he loves the T34, and it's turned out there's a fair amount of guys jumping in on it. You know, they're on the Facebook group now. It's starting to roll now as more people getting the kits and getting them started. Some guys have got video channels, some haven't. You know, you'll just have to go onto the Facebook group, which is the T34 Facebook. Oh, I don't know. One day I'll get a link up to it, but just go to Greg Riley. He'll always have the link on there on his T34 videos. Anyway, originally I was just going to, you know, I've got a fairly basic cheap kit, which was a T34 from the T34-85 from Zvezda. As you guys know, I'm building it as if it was in the Yugoslav Civil War. It's going to be based on a Croatian tank. When I say based, it's bits rubbed off for them all, because you can't tell me that this tank never existed, or, you know, I'm using the rubber standoff armour, conveyor belts, rubber stuff they had in factories. They just ripped out and bolted on to these tanks to try and upgrade them. And they did it to the Shermans that they had. They'd still got Shermans in reserve. They'd still got Hellcats on reserve. They'd still got M10 tank destroyers that the Americans had, all these that the Americans had given them. And obviously they've got a big from an Eastern Bloc country. They'd still got a big batch of T34s, all rusting away probably in tank graveyards. But whoever controlled that area got them out and you know, set them to work type of thing. And it was up to, and I would imagine a lot of the crews, not all of them were particularly tank trained. It's like, oh, T34 down here, we'll have that and get it going, you know. I think a lot of the blokes just learnt on the job. So this is why I'm trying to ease into the figure bit now. So anyway, I've got this tank now because I'm doing so much modifications to it. I'll say this again and again. I like my models to tell a story as I do my figures if I can. That's nothing against anybody that just wants to do a standard tank of whatever description you're building. I'm not just about for the T34 group build. Any tank, you know, if you just want to do, this is a tank this model is representing a particular tank, you know, particular country, sticking it on my shelf, very nice. I like to tell little stories with them, especially with a heavily modified tank like this. So it then went from just being a tank with the lids all shut, you can't see in. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really tell the story I want it to tell, so I've got to end up getting some figures. So now the thing's expanded already, and really I want to get on to painting. I want to start building I've been wanting to do this FW 190 and 172 scale for like 3 months, and now I'm getting further down the rabbit hole of this T34 build. So I've been looking around. Obviously I was never going to be able to, be very lucky if you were going to get figures from that era, which is 1990, 91, then later on, and probably a tiny bit earlier. You were never really going to, unless you're going to get resin figures. Resin figures are out of the question. I don't have a lot of money. I'll try and keep the cost down and everything. The problem is I'm already now going from a £20-odd kit to now I've added £12 with the, well, it's supposed to be free delivery, but you'll know that the delivery's in there. So, but £12 all in for these 4 figures. So, boom, it's been expanded already. The only difference is, figure-wise, as I say, I will strip things down. Like Greg Riley had given me a metal barrel, so my T34's there, and I'm about to do another update on that. I have to, you know, as I say, I haven't got the room for this stuff, so and it's not good enough to try and sell or even give away for that matter. So it's going to be stripped, you know, of what it can be stripped of as you go in the spares box. So the metal barrel will get used again, other bits and pieces. Same with these figures. These figures will be stripped and reused as they might be Middle East tank figures next time you see them. So now we've got figures. So now we have to have a little base, because then I thought, no, I am not doing a diorama. You know, I've still got the other one in the very little space I've got, and that's going to have to get broken up, or at least the tank broken up and the figures wrapped up and put in a little box, along with a couple of other figures I've got. I just don't have the room, and I don't want it collecting dust. I hate seeing dusty stuff that you've spent ages painting, you know. I might try and save that diorama base for the Tiger, just so I can use it as a plonk another tank on. I don't mind doing them. It's just that they are very time costly, and I don't have a lot of time. Not with commission painting and the other bits and pieces. So now we're adding figures on. So now realistically, I can just put some figures on. It's not like I'm just going to stick one guy out of a turret. So there's 4 figures I'm going to be doing here. So they need to be having a context of interaction and whatever. So now I'm going to have to do a small base, and I'm determined to keep that base as uninvolved as I can. So yeah, I'll just turned an unboxing into a ramble, haven't I? I'll put the ramble on the, just because I know there's a lot of guys, if I put this up as an unboxing, I'll get a load of hate of people saying, oh, I just came for an unboxing and you've talked all the way through it. So I'll put ramble on the front as well. So these guys obviously are all going to be in their Middle East type garb, uniforms, whatever. And I'm going to have to obviously just, I'm not going to convert them. I'm not going that far down. I'm not sticking extra bellows pockets on, because I'm not a sculptor and I'll make it look naff. So, right, join me at the bench and we'll have a look at these figures. Right guys, holding the camera back, that's what we've got. So, let me get some type of pointy stick. This guy here, he's got like the wind cheater on. I'm going to probably do that as a civilian top, because a lot of them were in mixed dress, especially in the early days. Later on, it looks like they seem to have got their hands on more uniforms. You know, a lot of NATO type of issue. I'm not saying NATO was supplying them. I just mean, you know, obviously the arms buyers or whatever have got them scouring for surplus, and you see them in a lot of American type camouflage and a lot of British as well. A bit like the Ukraine in a way. So yeah, this guy here, I mean, that's almost a classic. It's an Eastern Bloc type of hat, and it's almost like a classic Yugoslavian J&A type of hat. I know it's not exactly, but you know, it'll do. So I'm thinking of doing this as a civilian jacket, camouflage some of these, maybe leave a couple of them in the old J&A. Such a Yugoslav army, the original Yugoslav army before it all broke up. I've got to just check their uniform a bit. I have been looking, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But might keep some in the J&A colour, but again, camouflage them. The only problem is with some of these, you know, as I say, they're missing obviously the bellows type pockets that most most uniforms have. So I've got to be a bit careful what I do. I was thinking of maybe even turning a pair into a pair of jeans, because you can probably get away with that if you paint them right. And again, shirt wise, I don't want to do them too civilian. I want to have a militaristic look at them, but at the same time, I'm tempted to put a few civvy bits of clothes on them. And I got these because I just liked the poses. At first, when I saw it on eBay, I thought it was supposed to be for something like a shilker or something like that, and he was, I don't know, on an anti-aircraft piece. But obviously now realising then I realised it was a tank turret he's holding. So he's obviously sitting on the outside and holding his turret. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to fit mine, so I could end up with some very odd placed arms and hands, and if it doesn't work then I just won't use them. But I like this guy here particularly for the story I've got. Sorry, let's go down again. I like this guy here. You know, he's obviously sat at the edge of his tank and he could be talking to somebody, which may appear later on in the thing when I finally get some work done on the base. So yeah, could even be talking to this guy. I don't know. I have got an idea in my head which I won't shout about yet, but yeah, so let's go and do the unboxing. Right guys, thanks for staying with it. We've got them unboxed at last. Yes, I know, it's awe-inspiring, isn't it, after all that yak, all that waffle. Yeah, this is what you get with all these guys. They do a big box for a little sprue. The one trick I always think these different companies mixes, like in the old days you'd get, I think with Tamiya, I'm not sure, but you'd get a few extra bits and bobs just to dress them up a bit, you know, the few extra weapons, some binos, binoculars, you know, just a few bits and pieces just to, and you could always chuck them in your spares box, you know. I think if they could put a few extra treats on these without costing it any more, you know, that it would be a lot better. Right, this is our standing guy. Let me see if we can get in closer. We've got obviously moulding bits, tabs, whatever you want to call them here, which aren't going to be too hard to get rid of. I have had a look at these through the bag. I've saved you the crispy bag openings. It always blows my eardrums. Very fine details. I can't fault the actual moulding that I've seen on them so far through the bag. You're obviously going to have to be, sorry, I do this every time. That's Peter from Peter's Scale Hobby. Thanks for interluding on my video, Pete. Right, there we go. Let's turn him down a minute. He's got a video out. Go and check it out. That's Pete from Sweden. Yeah, faces. We've got a bit of a moustache there by the look of it. I think it's a moustache. Great big tab on his head and that. I thought that could be a lot smaller. But again, you know, cut it away. I'm not teaching you guys to suck eggs. Most of you guys that watch these know how to do this, but obviously, you know, I cut it away first there, and then this with my Tamiya side cutters, and again, and then just use one of these just to clean it up, and then a bit of sanding if it's required. But yeah, you know, it's again, I can't fault it's not soft moulding or anything. It's nicely moulded. Again, boots again. All the texture in the boots, nice. Faces. It's always hard with these type of plastic faces to see really until you actually get some primer on them. But they look nice. I say that I think the attachment's a bit heavy on the heads, but the tank helmets that the Eastern Bloc countries use, they obviously come in pieces with these, so that should be interesting. You obviously get a top and sides to it, which I thought was a bit unusual. Seemed a bit complicated for what they are. Here's our crouching figure. See, he's got more hair there because his hat's shoved at the back of his head, which I thought was a good pose. It's also the back of our commander figure again. Well, bloke in his wind cheater anyway. Waterproof, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, there ain't a lot to show. There's one pistol, if I remember rightly, and I can't find, looking over the top of the camera. There was a bloke moulded with a pistol. Has he got it? Turn it over. Yeah, he is. You do get a pistol. So yeah, you know, as I say, this cost me, weren't as cheap as I'd like. I think it was, you know, again, I think they'd said free delivery. I think it was Model Hobbies I got this from. And as we all know, it's never free. They just put it on the price, don't they? But 12 quid. I would have preferred to pay about £8 for them if I'm fair, but it is what it is. I needed to get some figures. I was looking at their other Soviet figures that they do. They do some lovely different. Like these are very. I believe these will come up very nice. They do some lovely 1950s, 60s, 70s Soviet figures from different eras in different winter and summer uniforms. And I did actually like the winter figures, but they all got mitts on, which was a shame. If they'd have had a choice of between having the big heavy mitts and not, I would have probably gone with those. But still, I think I keep saying to you guys, I like the relaxed poses on most of the figures that I paint when I'm doing them around the vehicles and stuff. So they should come up nice. They don't seem too involved. There's mould lines down the legs that I can see, which you expect. So they'll have to be scraped away, a bit of a sand, and down the arms as well. So just be careful you don't take away too much of the creases and whatever when you do it. But no, I think they'll come up well. So they always seem tiny fake. Whenever they're like this, they always seem a lot smaller, the faces. So how much I get out of those faces, I don't know, but we'll see. So guys, I've rambled all the way through an unboxing. It doesn't change, and I wonder why I don't get many views. I can't change. It's no good. I am who I am. Join me again in a video which should be hopefully coming up soon after this one today, which is just a very quick update on the T34 build itself. I'm about to go put it into paint this afternoon, so let's just have a quick look at it. So again, look after yourselves guys, and we'll speak soon.